All right, hello everybody, and welcome back to some more Mania 4-Key World Cup 2024 action. This time, right after the USA-Malaysia winners bracket match, we are moving right into some losers bracket action. Number 15 seeded Taiwan versus number 28 seeded New Zealand. New Zealand, number 28 seed, making it to round one quarterfinals. Very impressive, pulling off the upset in round of 16 to make it here. So really pulling punches here, making sure that they are known, having a chance to make it into the top 16 if they are able to fend off Taiwan. But I am one of your commentators for this match, Toph Daddy, joined here by Dynascape. How's it going?
It's going great, Toph. Last little match of this pretty sizable block here, and what a way to end things off. All eyes are on New Zealand as they are the lowest seed left in the tournament, and like you said, pulling off that upset against Italy last round where both teams basically just slugging it out on all 6 rice picks. So I feel like Taiwan has a big inkling as to what really New Zealand is capable of at the top half of the map pool. So they're gonna have a lot of very thoughtful picks in this match as compared to New Zealand, where Taiwan honestly pretty middle of the pack through and throughout. No really big standout plays from them as a team as a whole. So they've got some choices. Maybe New Zealand really sticks with that game plan of just pick any rice that you see, just bloodlust in their eyes.
Yeah, I mean, if we look back at like qualifier results, for example, we see that for the most part, New Zealand is kind of like towards the bottom a little bit, is actually quite average in general, has some very good scores. I think their high-end LN and hybrids were actually quite impressive, but notably their Rice 1 was like a top 10. They had a top 10 performance on Rice 1, and that is incredibly impressive. But same vein, you look at Taiwan's scores, they basically did the exact same thing, just with a little bit more competence when it comes to like the higher end like LNs and hybrids. And pretty much everything Taiwan has a little bit of an advantage on, but it is just that rice accuracy is very, very good for both of these teams.
Yeah, and one thing I'm really looking at for Taiwan as New Zealand protects SV2.
I love this already.
Yeah, it looks great. I think Taiwan is really looking to go for the density map because New Zealand actually bottom scored it as a whole on the density map last week. Pretty uninteresting performances, a 986, 981, and a 945. It seems like they can't really keep up with the scaling of LNs or maybe even possibly some of the more LN-oriented hybrids. So as Taiwan protects Rice 3, it really begs the question, what kind of bans are they going for?
Yeah, it's kind of interesting to think about. I mean, if I'm on Taiwan's side, I'm taking out the easiest Rice map in the pool. I'm taking out Rice 3. Or actually, they protect Rice 3, so they can't even ban that. Wait, why'd they ban that? Why'd they protect that?
Yeah, it's kind of scary knowing that New Zealand has some heavy hitters when it comes to Rice, but I mean, if you're confident on it, by all means, go ahead. I hope it just doesn't hit you on your way out. And as they think about their ban, I mean, they're gonna go for SV1,
maybe a scare tactic from New Zealand a little bit, protecting that SV2, showing a little bit of muscle on those SVs, getting rid of that SV1. And New Zealand saying, as expected, they're looking to keep those SVs open. I mean, especially as a lower seed, you kind of expect SVs to go away. And Rice 3 is the Jack map, so they can't ban that now. I would expect probably a long note map to go away here. Yeah, long note 1. That makes sense. Perfect. I think that's a perfectly understandable ban.
Yeah, I think you said in that last match that we casted that we haven't really seen a lot of players opt for Packet Hero when it comes to LN picks. They'll usually go towards Classic Einheit or Ivy Brutals first, just because it is coordination. It's pretty scary with the way this category has scaled throughout the rounds, and pretty risky pick for anyone looking for LNs, and very deadly for anyone that is looking to ban LNs. So great ban by New Zealand, and for the first pick for New Zealand, probably gonna have to see a Rice pick. It just really begs the question, which one?
If I'm in New Zealand's shoes, oh
wow!
First picking SV2, a bold decision, going with your protect and also the SV map here. I'm not too surprised to see something like this. I think they're just like there's probably a part of New Zealand that like has seen like the past scores from previous rounds of Taiwan, and it's like, I don't know how strong we can do against them. I mean, they're a pretty low seed against a middle road seed, and that could be intimidating, especially as the map pools get harder. So going with something that might have a high score differential, or maybe Taiwan is not super comfortable with, definitely a strong opener and gives the opportunity to kind of get some momentum on their side.
Oh yeah, and especially like I always say, it's always good for a lower seeded team to try to at least practice an SV, especially if the other team is not known for being an SV team. And Taiwan, especially, at least last round, did not perform too well. Bottom scored out of all of the teams on SV2. We had such Jackie, and Shice play that, and Shice unfortunately ended up with a 577k, so meaning that they didn't even have someone super well practiced. Jackie ended off with a 715k. So I mean, definitely, practice not there for Taiwan. Sometimes when it comes to SV, we're gonna have to see if they actually practice it this time around.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Jackie comes in, such and Vos is staying in, but this is New Zealand's Protect and Selection for the first one. Interesting, kind of, to see Jackie in. They aren't the normal SV player for Taiwan, so I'm curious to see how this goes.
Yeah, and for New Zealand, we do get to see Stupid Snake and Vidox, or Zidox, two players we actually didn't see last round, so two of the SV players coming in for New Zealand. Like I said last weekend, New Zealand basically going for every single rice pick, and we saw 99% of Robeats, Blixer, and Aramadian, with Koyu coming in for one of the LNs. So it's nice to see some new faces for New Zealand, at least.
Yeah, I mean, a lot. I mean, New Zealand, despite the low seed, has quite a malleable team. Like, a lot of their players are just swapping in for a bunch of different picks, and Zidox, Stupid Snake are pretty well established as SV players for that team. But, Blixer, not necessarily playing everything. We saw Robeats in the qualifiers, so definitely malleable there. And we see Jackie actually, without, they weren't playing the SVs in previous rounds. We saw Ha0201 kind of taking that slot, and we already see a miss from them. So a nice lead already kind of established for New Zealand, and it looks like Jackie is not quite as well practiced as the rest of the lobby. So already seeing quite a strong lead, but Blixer does trade one of those misses back, so it's going to stem the bleeding a little bit, but Jackie continues to find some issues with some of these memorization patterns.
Exactly. It seems like every little stop is catching out Jackie, and we have Veloz and Zidox battling things out for top score in the lobby. Such is being beaten out by Stupid Snake by just a little bit, actually a decent amount, but both holding on to out. And as I say, that Such does miss.
Nice commentator curse. We've got two FCs actually for New Zealand now that Such has missed. Veloz, the only FC on the side of Taiwan, but this lead is skyrocketing super fast.
Yeah, things are definitely getting out of control, and that's really off the back of Jackie just having a miss in every little memo section on this map, which is truly unfortunate, just not well practiced enough. It seems like they did play this map a couple times. I mean, you can't really first try a 94 on a map like this. It's not enough, and Blixer unfortunately doesn't have the same amount of practice either, but is doing better by a considerable amount.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, Blixer not even doing that bad themselves, 97%. It really is just Stupid Snake and Zidox having that really well-practiced mentality. Both players above 99.5 right now, which is well above every single player on Taiwan. So just very well-practiced from their side. And that slow jam, I mean, I think the second half is where things get a little bit off the rails for pretty much everyone. We see Such actually breaking the last FC for Taiwan there as two still stay alive for New Zealand, and a strong first pick, good protect from them. Even halfway through, 120,000 is difficult to come back from, especially if this is kind of what we're seeing here for SVs. I think this is the kind of map where it's difficult to come back from.
100%. I think you can really just call it done and dusted. Those sudden stutters just catching out everyone on the Taiwanese team, and even these little tricks and fast gems here not boding well for their accuracy. They are comboing through it, but it's just not enough. You see Stupid Snake and Zidox really putting in the work this week to ensure that their team has the best chance in gaining a point on SV, and it's worked out wonderfully. New Zealand 150,000 point lead despite the best efforts from Veloz, despite the best efforts from Such. It's just New Zealand has really put in the time.
Yeah, I mean, you can see a little bit of of discomfort coming from Blixer as well. So it's not like this SV is going to be super easy for anyone to learn. But Blixer is doing their job, taking care of Jackie, who maybe didn't have the best practice this week. But Stupid Snake and Zedax just having such an incredible score here, like 299s here versus Veloce and such, who are also having good scores. 97, 98, very good on an SV map like this, but it's just not enough when you've got two FCs coming out for New Zealand right now.
Yeah, I would have to say that Stupid Snake and Zox would probably be in definitely the top half of players that have played this map. If you were to test all of the players in general, just amazing scores by them. Gonna see the final results: 981 and a 974. Very, very good scores by both of them, cinching that first little point against Taiwan. But from here on out, they don't really have any more tricks up their sleeves.
Yeah, everything else in this pool is kind of more straightforward. Obviously, more straightforward than SVs. There are some tricky maps. There's some interesting ones you can go for here. I could definitely see something like Rice 5 being kind of like a funky pick there. 1 minute and 30 seconds. It's got it's the TV size, meme almost of like one or two misses is enough to kind of mess everything up. And obviously, Rice 3, oh, that's coming out from Taiwan right now. Rice 3, the pick there. I still don't like this. I still don't like this being a protect or a pick right out the gate from Taiwan.
It's such a call-out pick to me for Taiwan. Like, Taiwan is just calling out New Zealand, saying, I don't think you have the physicality or accuracy to confidently put up 3 players that can FC this map, but we do. And I really feel like that's what Taiwan's trying to say. I don't know if it's going to work out, but I mean, if Taiwan is able to take this pick, I think they should feel very comfortable on really any other Rice pick. I think these 3 players that are put up for Taiwan, who usually do play the Rice picks, do have really good accuracy in pretty much any skill set in the Rice department.
They absolutely do, and it's interesting to note that they had a pretty good score on the Jack chart from last round. They did end up with the eighth best score from that round, so as number 15 seen, pretty good performance there, but we did not. I'm not sure if we did probably see New Zealand's. I don't actually have that score opened up for myself right now, but this is a Jack pick. I mean, I mentioned being a little uncomfortable as far as this goes, because if I was in Taiwan's shoes and I'm trying to like really push the Rice difficulty, I'm not going for an accuracy pick. I'm not going for a pick where if New Zealand can keep up with it, they can keep up with it and get good accuracy on it, because that's how Jack picks work for the most part. If I'm in Taiwan's shoes, I'm looking Rice 4, Rice 5, going with the really difficult stuff that are super easy to choke and require a lot of physicality. I'm not going for something where it's like, if you're even remotely capable of this, you're getting like a 995, and one mistake loses you the map,
Yeah, and I should point out, it's quite interesting to not see Robeats on this map and having Zedox in instead for the Jack pick, because Robeats top scored for the Jack pick last round for New Zealand. Speaking of accuracy, when compared to Taiwan, Robeats, Aramidian, and Blixer all had basically 99.9s, whereas on the side of Taiwan, Yukam and Jackie had 99.9s on the Jack pick, but then Veloce struggled a little bit with a 99.75. So definitely look to Veloce for someone that might mess up for Taiwan, and definitely look for Zedox, seeing if they can really pick up the pieces that Robeats is leaving behind for them to pick up as we get into this Jack pick.
Yeah, certainly an interesting thing to look at. We did not see Robeats play the SV pick either, and they, for at least qualifiers, which I do have scores pulled up for, Robeats was in on everything. That's the captain for the New Zealand team, and a little surprising not to see them in here, but we'll have to see how this goes. We have a little bit of an easy section. Players should not have really any issue with getting up to 400 combo, and all the accuracy is looking quite comparable. Maybe Taiwan with a very, very slight accuracy lead out the gate.
Yeah, I think Zedox is lagging behind by just a little bit, and that might fall even a bit further as we delve into these deeper densities. But for now, I mean, things are flickering back and forth. We've got Yukam standing head and shoulders above everyone else, and Jackie Veloce in lockstep with each other, tied with Blixer, Minion slightly in between all the Taiwanese players.
And the density starts to come around. You get longer jacks coming around. Zadok's still a little bit behind everyone. Blixer and Median actually, I think now all 3 Taiwanese players ahead of the 3 New Zealand players. Jackie a little bit behind for Taiwan, but still holding his accuracy well enough. And Zadok's actually finding a little bit of an accuracy drop, 99.7 now. And that lead is huge with a miss from Median. Is just giving Taiwan a huge lead now. The physicality might just be a little bit too much.
Yeah, and you can even see that with the unstableness in Zadok's UR bar. A couple of early 200, couple late ones. It seems like they can't read this properly at this BPM. And that really goes to show, Zadok's coming in for this begs the question, is Robeats online and available for this pick?
Yeah, and that's a miss from Zadok's as well. We still see 3 full combos. Okay, never mind. 2 full combos for the side of Taiwan as Veloce does find a miss, but a 25,000 point lead 3/4 of the way in as Zadok's trades that miss back. And we're just about to hit the end of this dense section, and Taiwan looking very, very strong to take this pick, bring it to a 1-to-1 matchup right now.
Yeah, basically the rest of the map is just all filler for your accuracy, and it seems like Taiwan has done it in dominant fashion. Yuckum with 99.95, Jackie ending in with an FC of 99.8, very much so beating out anyone on New Zealand by a country mile. And as things close out, we're going to see the final scores. Yoakum, I think, has cinched the 996, maybe even a 997, and Jackie 993 as well. So crazy scores from the Taiwanese squad, barring a miss and a 50 from Veloce. Just very stellar accuracies all around.
Yeah, Blixer actually having a very good score as well. Actually beating out Veloce from the Taiwanese side with that miss from them. But still, 989, not a bad score at all. Just, a couple of scores below what was expected. Taiwan just putting on a performance.
And so now, again, I think Taiwan can really branch out into most of these other rice picks, not really because of, usually when you think you win a core jack pick, it doesn't mean much for anything in terms of you can branch out to other picks just because they're all so different. You have tech and you have stream and you have jump stream. But Taiwan won by such a landslide in both accuracy and combo that they should feel really good about anything else up there in the map pool.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of got to feel that way about Taiwan, but New Zealand kind of in a weird position because in previous rounds they didn't perform super well as far as long lights and hybrids go, so Rice might be one of the more comfortable sides of things, though if Robeats isn't playing, I mean, that gives a little bit of an advantage to Taiwan already because Robeats is definitely super, super strong for that New Zealand squad, but I could almost see something like, in this situation, I might see an LN3 pick coming out just to kind of get that out of the way. But, Rice 6 coming in.
And you know what? I don't think that's too bad of an idea from New Zealand. We've seen a lot of teams pull off essentially a seeding upset where you don't think a team will win, but because the other team has messed up and you just have that consistency, this Frums map has been really solid in flipping the table around. So New Zealand really looking hopeful here as they try to get in their second point, because it might be a very bad thing if they can't cinch this one, as Taiwan is also eyeing the rest of the rice pool.
Yeah, that is definitely true. This map has also, we've seen so many variables come through with this. We've seen a lot of inconsistencies with this map in particular. It's relatively straightforward. I think most of the patterns are super, super normal. It's a lot of jump stream. It's a lot of broken jump stream. And there's a couple of awkward patterns throughout it, but the patterning itself is super one-handed. It is basically designed to make sure your singular hands are tripping up on itself all the time, and that can cause some real issues for teams if they're not super ready for it.
Yeah, just a lot of long anchors on one hand or one finger, one column. And so starting off this map is very important because we've seen a couple of players mess up in the beginning before we even get into the more dense sections, the more streamier and abrasive patternings. It's really that first initial section where it has those polyrhythms on one hand is been quite a test for a lot of players so far.
It certainly has, and we see actually a swap out from New Zealand. I think maybe Robeats might be coming in. We see the we see the chat coming in saying Robeats is being switched to the server, so Robeats may be joining now. So we could see New Zealand having a little bit of new life here for Rice.
Yeah, the knight in shining armor really coming through. Yeah, it's such an opportune time for New Zealand. We were wondering where Robeats was. It seems like they weren't even on the tournament server, and it seems like they are finally here and ready to show Taiwan what they are made of, because with this squad now complete, it feels like Exodia has been made for New Zealand in terms of Rice.
And there it is. Robeats has joined the server now. So we see them in New Zealand, maybe having a little, like I said, having a little bit of new life, having their best player back on the roster for this team. I mean, depending on whether they were able to warm up, we might see some awkwardness, but I definitely think New Zealand has a much better chance with Robeats on the squad.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, Zidox did do their best on the Jack map, and they were honestly putting up a pretty good score, but unfortunately it just was not enough. And even though Taiwan beat them quite easily on that pick, I feel like this one is just going to be a little bit closer, not only because of the map, but because Robeats is here. We are finally going to get into the map and see what New Zealand has in store for us for the rest of the Rice picks now that they're really at full power.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I do hope that Robeats is warmed up enough to, work with this. But even then, this is New Zealand's pick. They feel comfortable enough on it. We'll just have to see how the performance goes. This is one of those picks where, like I said, it's very easy to choke on. So I could definitely see Taiwan having some issues, especially towards the end where the speed ups start happening. And just right out the gate, no one really having any issues. And it looks like Robeats is doing just fine already out the gate.
Absolutely cruising, and that score lead flickering as we get into these longer anchored jacks. Seems like everyone's doing good except for Yokum, who finally misses, and so lead swapped over to New Zealand. A decent chunk of accuracy drop from Jackie as well, but finally that miss is traded out by Robeats, so things are evening out here as we get into this more dense section.
Yeah, absolutely. And the accuracy drop from Robeats was a little bit heavier than the accuracy drop from Yukum. Maybe potentially from a lack of warm up. We'll have to see if that holds through. But overall accuracy for New Zealand holding on very strong. And Velose finding a drop there, 2 drops actually. So it's 2 full combos to just 1 as New Zealand holds on to now a quite strong lead. But Robeats trades that miss. Big accuracy drop, and median also finds a drop. So it's 1 full combo to 1 now. No, it's not. It's 1-0 as Jackie finds a break. Blixer, the last combo remaining as people are starting to build up that accuracy. And this is going to be flickering by the time everyone gets back up to 400.
Yeah, it really feels like no one has a solid grasp on this map as Yokum falls yet again, giving the lead over to New Zealand. Blixer is the only one left. I don't know if that's a climb miss, but if not, that's going to be huge for Taiwan.
Oh, that was a double miss, but Yokum actually trades one of those misses back. I can't tell what the lead is. I don't know what is client and what's not.
Hard to distinguish dreams from reality as Jackie misses yet again. That lead dwindling for the red team. There's not much map left. They really need to lock in these last couple of notes, but I feel like they've clinched it, Toph. I feel like they've done just enough, and New Zealand has messed up just enough in order to take this point.
Yeah, and Robeats does find another break, and I think that's going to be the nail in the coffin there. Taiwan going to be able to take the break point here just barely for themselves. The lead looks a little bigger than I think it actually would be. I think there definitely was potentially a bit of warm-up worries from Robeats, but still, wow. Oh my goodness, those accuracies just in general, that's crazy.
Yeah, so many just really good judgments overall. A lot of single-digit grades, which is pretty uncommon on this map. And it's unfortunate for Robeats, right? We talked about whether or not they'd be warmed up for it. It just seems like they were not definitely showing by their 36 200s and 7 misses.
Blixer making the note. All right, good warm-up there. I think at a certain point, I mean, they were definitely doing better towards the end, and that's what we kind of want to see with the warm up, trying to get their New Zealand's best player back under wraps, make sure that they're doing what they can be. And we do see the stamina map coming in, the jump stream pick, 250 BPM for 3 minutes. This is a big test of how quickly someone can warm up for sure.
Yeah, I was about to exactly say that. What better way to warm up than after some tech, you just delve straight into the jump stream pick. So, I mean, again, New Zealand full power. They're not going to change this Rice lineup from here on out. This is going to be their squad. And Taiwan looks like there's not going to be any changes either. Everyone's just going to slug it out against each other for as long as both of these teams want to pick Rice.
Yeah, I mean, this is kind of how the last New Zealand match went as well. They just kind of went back and forth between Rice picks to kind of see how things shook out. So, really interesting comparison to the last match, but if Robeats can warm up, I mean, that Rice 6 map was very close for a long time. New Zealand had to lead multiple times and just came down to maybe a little bit of discomfort coming from not being fully warmed up. New Zealand has the opportunity to really push this, and maybe Taiwan sees that. Maybe Taiwan sees, the weakness that comes from Robeats just now joining the match and wants to get rid of something that would otherwise be a potentially very good New Zealand pick here.
And I do like that you note that it was very close for such a long period of time on Guryev Sir, because Aramidian and Blixer did beat out the top scores on Taiwan with the 984 and 983, two top scores on Taiwan being 980 and 975. So it really was just off the back of Robeats not being warmed up or well practiced. I would have to say if they were, they most likely would have taken that pick against Taiwan. So hopefully it really is just kind of like Robeats is a ticking time bomb at this point that Taiwan wants to defuse as quickly as possible.
Yeah, get as many points as you can out of potentially, not being super ready. And we see a little bit of an accuracy drop from Robeats right out the gate, down to the 99.3 early, but is building that up as no combo breaks are seen so far. Though Blixer actually does find a little bit of an accuracy drop as well, staying around the same as Jackie. Midian staying around the top with Yukum, but Velose and Robeats is the difference right now, 99.9 versus 99.65. And that's about a 2,000 point lead, though that's not a huge amount. But with the note count of this map, 2,000 points is going to be a lot more than on something like, Rice 5, where the note count is more like 1,700. So 2,000 points is going to be enough to potentially tank a miss, but a miss is going to make it very close one way or another. So both teams still have to stay very consistent. Robeats building up that accuracy again, though does find a huge rush there and drops down below 99.5 once again.
Yeah, I think we've seen in other matches a clean drop on this map is equivalent to about 2,500 points or something like that. So with Velosa and Yukum really keeping up that strong vanguard in beating the highest scoring player of Aramidian, that trade by Yukum and Robeats isn't going to matter much, honestly. In fact, it might even favor Taiwan just off of the back of them having better overall accuracy.
Yeah, that accuracy definitely helping Robeats with the miss there. Though Yukum actually does find a little bit of an accuracy drop. We see the miss there coming out, dropping below, but it is still going to be a 14,000 point lead for Taiwan here. And that's a good 2 to 3 misses of difference here. We saw that trade there, but Aramidian is going to be the next miss there, and that's not going to help New Zealand's opportunities. Though the accuracy is still not super far out of range, though Taiwan doing a great job holding up. Velose holding up the fort right now with a 99.9%, keeping this well out of striking range for New Zealand.
Definitely an uphill battle for New Zealand on this map. We're getting into the last song, and just at a snapshot as Yukum misses yet again. Even with that miss, still better accuracy than Aramidian. Still more full combos on the board for Taiwan. And with Velosa and Jackie at 99.9 and 8 respectively, it's going to be so hard for New Zealand to catch up. It basically needs for there to be a catastrophic event for Taiwan, but that's just not going to happen as Aramidian dropping yet again. Blixer the only FC on New Zealand's side. And I mean, curtains are closing for New Zealand on this map.
Yeah, it's getting really close to the end. This ending does have some hard patterns, but it is still just the jump stream pick, and if the consistency stays there, shouldn't be any issue. Robeats maybe the nail in the coffin there, as Taiwan potentially taking their third point in this match as we hit the last pattern of this map. And it's going to be 2 full combos to 1. Blixer holding on very well, but just not going to be enough against Velose and Jackie holding on to double S's on their side. And
Wow.
Yukam just like kind of having some issues, but just 1-200 outside of the bad judgments, also having a very, very good score.
An immaculate ratio at that. 985 with 2 misses is kind of crazy when you look at Blixer's FC at a 988. I really feel like Taiwan can just delve into some of these speedier picks. So, I mean, Rice 1 looking good for Taiwan as a next up pick, but for now, New Zealand going to be up next to bat. Where do you go if you're them? Because you've been beaten out on a pick like Rice 2. You've been beaten out on Gurviev, sir. You don't know if your best player is warmed up adequately, so it's a tough choice. And so, again, New Zealand up next to pick where do they want to go. The only potential picks left for them in terms of Rice are Rice 1, the stream map, Rice 4, more of a abrasive techie map, and Rice 5, kind of more that vocal dump. They are going to go for Rice 4. I think that is the best choice that they could have possibly made. Basically off of the back of that from Smap saying, we know that last map was a fluke. We believe we can take it because with Robeats more warmed up, it should be a pretty comfy victory for us. So New Zealand trying to go for that second point. Taiwan trying to break free of New Zealand's grasp and get another break point, making things 4-1. That would be very big for Taiwan.
It would certainly be very big for Taiwan, but the closer a beat gets to warming up, the more a map like this starts to become a little bit of a risk. I'm kind of surprised Taiwan's still sticking with Rice. I guess this isn't Taiwan's pick, but New Zealand kind of sticking with the Rice. But I'm interested to see how Taiwan kind of moves along with this match, because they'll at least get 1 or 2 more picks after this, no matter what happens with this. And,
yeah,
they went for the stamina pick to try, in my head, I'm thinking, oh, they went for that because Robeats is still trying to warm up. And, New Zealand has been looking very, very good on Rice otherwise. So, good pick from New Zealand. But depending on how the outcome of this goes, I kind of am interested to see Taiwan kind of move out of the Rice pool and into something a little bit more outside of New Zealand's wheelhouse, which I would expect like something like, LN2 or 3 to kind of come out from there.
And I really think that's kind of like the elephant in the room that's waiting to happen in just a couple of points where New Zealand's kind of getting exhausted out of these Rice picks and Taiwan has been coasting through them. So if New Zealand can't capture this point, Taiwan has so many good picks on paper for them. Anything in LN, anything in hybrid just look really good, maybe besides some of the more physical ones. So, I mean, Taiwan has a lot of thinking to do after this point, but what needs to happen now is if they can get this 4th point, they are in such a good position to take this map. Or this match.
Yeah, I mean that would be 2 break points now, and that means that they would just need to win their own picks, and they would be well on their way to winning, and even have like an opportunity. Like they even have the flexibility to lose one of their own picks and not have to worry too much about it because they'd be still a break point ahead. But so far, this is looking good. Robeats having incredibly good accuracy. Blixer a little bit behind everyone else in the lobby so far. But still, New Zealand keeping up very well right now. Just about 1,000 points of difference as accuracy start to drop. Median holding the highest accuracy by about 0.1%. But Robeats does find a miss and a pretty big accuracy drop alongside that, and it continues to find a miss. And now about 15,000 points in favor of Taiwan with some of these really, really fast bursts.
That was so unfortunate. I was just getting ready to say that Robeats finally looked like they were going full throttle, but they had 2 very, very dirty drops, and it's not helping with Blixer dropping a lot of these late 200s, mostly on these speedier bursts. So as Blixer takes yet another miss, it's looking really good for Taiwan. Very stellar accuracies across the board. All 3 players with FCs beating out the only player with an FC on New Zealand's side by a considerable margin.
Yeah, Median was looking really good at the start too. Just had a little bit of an accuracy drop. Is the only FC, and Robeats does find another drop as about halfway through. We're already seeing about 36,000 points of difference as it's still 3 full combos on the side of Taiwan as a few more misses come out from New Zealand's side, and this is just looking super strong for Taiwan now.
Yeah, so many spread across misses for Blixer at the moment. Feels like any little burst, whether it be jacks or streams, just catches him out. And Robeat's not doing too well in the accuracy department either. Both of them standing at low 99s. Taiwan has been handling this so well and really getting the fruits of their labor. 60,000 points. It's pretty much the most comfiest win that Taiwan has had in this set, and that should really scare off New Zealand.
Yeah, and I mean this is the kind of scoreline you'd see when Taiwan's just like, yeah, we still feel comfortable picking Rice, and you could see something like Rice 5 coming out here from Taiwan after this pick, and not even having to worry about like showing off how well they can do LNs. Because reminder, like whoever wins this match still has to play another match in quarterfinals in the losers bracket, and Median finally dropping that full combo. Unfortunately, it's going to be three. Looks like it's going to be 3 full combos to 0 as Taiwan just puts on an incredible performance on that map. 2979 for a 15 seed, unbelievably good.
Yeah, it's kind of disgusting. 994, 993, 991. We've seen this map played quite a bit, and not a lot of teams can replicate that.
Yeah, that certainly would beat a couple of the top like 5 teams, guaranteed. Like that is a good enough score to really push it. I mean, we just saw the U.S. play, and I think they had a couple misses on it. I think that might have beaten the U.S.'s score on it. Like
Yeah,
that's it. If not, it's very close. Like that's an incredibly impressive score from Taiwan.
so Taiwan really looking like the monster here as they level up mid-match, and I mean, it just feels like every little Rice map they play, they just get better. And so this pick coming out, Rice 1, really good pick from Taiwan considering how much they beat New Zealand on Rice 2. And they've proven they have the physicality, they've proven they just have that stream accuracy.
Yeah, absolutely they have. And I mean, it's just been kind of all Taiwan since that SV pick. And a few picks have been very close. That Rice 2 was very close for a while. It just ended up being a little bit too much for New Zealand to handle, like stamina-wise, to keep up with how Taiwan was doing on it. And this is basically the perfect pick to kind of follow it up. Like I was saying, I wanted to continue my thought as things were happening in the last one, but Taiwan does still have a second match, or rather, not Taiwan, but the winner of this match has a second match in quarterfinals. So keeping information from your future opponents can always be helpful for this kind of situation. And if Taiwan wants to finish this match, get the next few picks out of the way and win, avoiding long notes and hybrids, keeping that score understanding away from their future opponents can be a great strategy.
100%, and that's I think what we talked a little bit about in that Brazil and Mexico match, where that match really went the distance, and I feel like Japan really has so much info to get off of that match where it feels like the Japanese team would have the upper hand. But getting into this map, at least, I mean, Taiwan, stellar accuracies across the board, everyone at about a 99.9 below, a little bit behind, but Midian doing their best to keep up the top score in the lobby, as Blixer and Robeats fall just a little bit behind in terms of accuracy, but nothing that can't be solved by a couple misses on the left side of the screen.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely super close. I mean, it's kind of the same thing we saw from Rice 2, where this accuracies were maybe in favor of Taiwan, but overall the scores are not too far off. It's only 2,000 points, and this map does not have a huge note count. It's only about 2,000, and that means that 2,000 points is literally way less than a miss of difference right now, as all the players on both sides are holding on to combo and good accuracy. Blixer being the lowest accuracy in the lobby right now, and 9.7 is very impressive. And Median holding on to be the highest accuracy in the lobby, tied with Velose, holding on, keeping themselves within striking distance. But wait, I can't tell what the real misses are.
Yeah, it's so hard to distinguish. I don't know if those were client misses, but it seems like Midian was having a bit of an issue with that faster stream section once it turned into the 8ths. So for now, we're just going to call it as Taiwan having a dominant lead off of the back of Midian's misses. And I mean, Blixer and Robeat still keeping up the FCs, but the accuracy is just not there. Still below the lowest scoring player on the Taiwanese side. Below's gonna drop a lot of 200s, drop in accuracy, but Jackie is still keeping things up.
Yeah, definitely having good accuracy there, and Median gonna find another break there. Despite the 2 full combos to 2, it is going to be quite a heavy lead for Taiwan, just based on the larger accuracy drop from Median there. Robeat's also not having the greatest time keeping accuracy up. I think it's just the overall accuracy from Taiwan is just super impressive here.
Really hard to, again, it's just really hard to beat a team score like that. Yes, Yukam did drop a miss somewhere in the streams, but when you look at the overall accuracies, not a lot of teams can beat a score like this. So
and
I
that's
mean,
a double S from Jackie, and I don't know even what to say about that. That's such a good score.
yeah, and like one misread pattern by Veloz leading to a 100 and 150. You talked a little bit about it on that last pick of a Raw Understanding, where they might have beaten the US team. I had to fact check that, Tove, and they would have lost the US team by 1,000 points, which is absolutely insane to think about.
Still,
right?
1,000 points for the 15 seed against number 1? That's crazy.
Yeah, so I mean, again, Taiwan just showing how good they are in Rice. And I think if they are able to take this last point and go against Russia, that'll really help them because, as we all know, Russia is also a very good Rice team. So we might see another bit of a showdown there if it comes to that later on in the week.
I want to see a fun pick from New Zealand here. I know we saw the SV picks, but we've had 5 Rice picks outside of that, which Taiwan has all won. So New Zealand kind of has to find something new to a certain point. And yes, Hybrid 3. That's what I wanted to see. I love this pick from New Zealand so much.
I actually really like it too, just because it feels like they need a change of pace. They need a change of scenery. And what better way to go to the Dragonlands for that one? So New Zealand's gonna try to duke it out with a bit of a noodle representation in this map, but kind of like Hybrid 3 from last round, there's still a lot of very abrasive patternings when it comes to Rice.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking of right now, where it's like, this map is super risky. And if you're backed into a corner like this, Taiwan's on match point right now. And New Zealand has seen some success kind of keeping up with accuracy out until they get lost in a few of the patterns and start losing accuracy. But like, if they're able to keep up accuracy, this map is all about keeping that consistency with combo. Like, outside of that, the accuracy has not been a huge player for a map like this. And I think taking risks like that is what you need to do, especially as a lower seed.
Oh yeah, 100%. When their backs are against the wall, you really need to do something that surprises your opponent. And so Hybrid 3 looking like a great pick for New Zealand, because the other option was that TV-sized vocal burst map in Rice 5, and I don't think that was.
You don't do that. No, you don't. No. You don't make that play after losing Rice 1 like that. You just don't. Taiwan is looking like, you're looking at a position where it's like, Taiwan's going to pick Rice 5 anyways. What are we going to do? Let's make a risky pick to try and really push the difficulty of this pool. This is maybe the riskiest of the hybrids, at least in my opinion it is. Actually, that's not even true. I think Rice 2 is more risky, but that one is for a different reason, because the physicality of Rice 2 is just so high. This one is a little bit more approachable, but also still has that risk factor of like the bursts intermingled with the long notes that can really cause some issues with like missing and consistency in general.
Yeah, and so far, even with all these little shorter long notes spread out and kind of some of these release tricks, New Zealand's hanging on just fine. Maybe a couple of bad judgments by Blixer here and there, but for the most part, 1,000 points, like you said, isn't going to do. It's not going to be off the back of accuracy on a map like this. It's really going to settle down to who can miss the least and who can provide that really good team score.
Ooh, and we actually see a bit of an accuracy rush from Ha there, down to 99.4, and New Zealand might have a slight accuracy lead now, despite incredible accuracy from Los Angeles. Just doing really well, but Blixer does find a combo break there. Is going to give Taiwan a little bit of cushion, but not too much, especially with Ha not being able to build up that accuracy. Still the lowest in the lobby right now.
Yeah, it feels like Blixer's beating out Ha by just a little bit, and then with Midian dropping, things are starting to look a lot more dicier for New Zealand, especially with Veloz and Shice doing super well in terms of both accuracy and combo, both of them beating out the top scoring player of Robeats. I mean, New Zealand needs something to happen for it to, or well, I guess it's really all on the hands of Taiwan. Balls in their court, they cannot mess this up.
Yeah, we do continue to see like pretty consistent accuracy drop from Ha. Down, still the lowest accuracy in the lobby, but holding onto the full combo is helping keep them in the lead. 11,000 points is quite a nice lead. Blixer finds another drop, and that's going to extend the lead for Taiwan, as we still see a triple full combo from Taiwan. Just kidding, Shisei does find a break, and that's going to stem the bleeding a little bit for New Zealand, but it's still 16,000 points. We've got one section left at the end here. It's 2 full combos, 2-1, but Blixer's got to start building that up. Actually trading that miss from Shisei as well, so not even really stemming the bleeding there, but does need to find some consistency here if New Zealand wants to stay alive in this tournament.
Yeah, we just passed through the LN heavy section, and I mean, it seems like everyone is having trouble in terms of accuracy with this. Blixer and Chais trading misses, but Blixer takes another one to go. As we see it, Taiwan is extending their lead in the last moments of this map, and really, Veloz and Ha has done what is needed to be done in order to secure this point. Ha, just an amazing FC for now. 99.15 FC is not something you see every day.
It's definitely not something you see every day, but holding on that full combo is definitely maybe what gave Taiwan the win. A couple misses would be bad. Actually, the only FC for Taiwan, with Veloz missing right at the end, still getting MVP, but 200s? Hold on. Actually, that's 200 from 2 Taiwanese players. Oh
yeah,
my
on a map like
goodness.
this, I don't know if that's allowed with how many weird releases, how many really quick streams there are. Taiwan just showing how deadly they can be, and especially when they can pull off FCs on people like Veloz, Shice, and Jackie. Oh my goodness, they look like a top team.
Yeah, they really do. I would be scared if I was Russia in this situation, because that's Taiwan's next opponent. They're winning this match 6-1 and moving on losers bracket, guaranteeing top 16, looking for that top 12 spot will be decided when they face Russia later this weekend. But unfortunately, New Zealand, the lowest seed of remaining, is going to be eliminated. But what a run they had. That was impressive.
Oh yeah, very much well played to all of the players on New Zealand. I can't wait to see what they do next year, but that is going to do it for this block. We do have a couple more matches as time runs out on the weekend, but you know what else is running out of time? Time for you guys to buy banners. Yes, there's not too much time left, maybe a couple more weeks. Toph, tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, you have until the end of finals weekend to buy your banners. Once finals weekend ends, it's cut off. You can't buy them during grand finals weekend, but one way or another, you've got to buy your banners. You can buy them for any team that made it to the round of 32, even the ones that are already eliminated. I would love to buy a New Zealand banner. They performed extremely well, but you can buy any team that made it to the round of 32. You can also buy multiple banners at the OSU store for $2.50 USD. It's so cheap. Why it makes you question why you wouldn't do it in the first place. Please help us support this tournament, support the players by buying those banners. Buy as many banners as you want, and if you buy the banner of the winning team, you get to keep it for an extra long time, for the whole year. How does that sound, Dynascape?
That sounds great, and for less than the price of 1 month of supporter, you can go ahead and directly support the teams, because any contribution that you make to the banners, a portion of it, I'm not sure how much, but I know at least a good portion of it does go to that prize pool for MWC. So of course, not only will you get some swag on your profile, you are helping out both the players and the tournament scene. Hope you guys enjoyed this little block. We'll see you in about 3 hours for Korea, Vietnam. Super excited about that one, and we'll catch you in the next one.